everyone, this is Jay from Fantasy Labs, and you're watching Volume 2 of the Bankroll Builder Series. I'm going to give a quick recap of the first day, where I absolutely got waxed, but only ended up losing roughly $4, so not too bad. And I'll show you the games. I think it's very important to keep track of your game history for kind of several reasons. Depending on what types of games and what dollar amounts you play, you'll definitely want to revisit your history after a certain sample size to gather data which will have a large impact on your future success, whether it's a higher win rate in $1 games versus $2 games, 50-50 win rates, ROI in certain games, and I think this all develops the more games you play. So as you can see, I had a negative 46% ROI for the first night. This is definitely not good, obviously, and if this continues long term, I may have to give up brand name cereal, which I think would have devastating consequences. Let's go back to DK here. And as you can see, my balance is now at 95. So looking back, kind of touching up a little bit more on the first video, here at Fantasy Lab, something we really do is stress process over results. So I definitely don't want to be too results oriented, especially after just one night. But that doesn't mean you can't refine your process or at least look back and see if you made any mistakes. So on this first night, if you watch the video, I think I should have tried harder probably to get Chris Middleton in versus the Rockets. He was definitely discounted enough on DK, and then I think I should have tried a little bit harder to not settle with DJ Augustine. I know it's a very tight pricing site, but he's a bench player and it was not a good matchup or really game flow for him to have a big game in that one. So I think being cognizant of your process and kind of understanding that you can always improve, I think that goes a long way to ensure success and especially longevity in DFS. Basically, we're all trying to be, the Greg Maddux of DFS. We want a long career, and you can't just blame your players for having bad games, even though it's really, really fun. But it's definitely one of the most important and underrated aspects in DFS is realizing when you make mistakes. You have to accept those mistakes and then work on improving these mistakes. So since I put 10% of my bankroll in the first night, I ended up not losing that much, only $4 and change. I'm going to go ahead and round up and get $10 of action again on this slate. So let's go ahead and post pretty much the same thing as the first night. We'll do 5 ones, 2 twos, limit to 1, so $9. And I'm keeping my 90-10 split, so the other dollar I will throw in a tournament. Let's just reserve these entries really quick. Alright, let's go to the lobby and reserve a $1 tournament. Which will be the and one again. So we'll do that and reserve an entry. Okay, so we got our action. You can see down here we get total entry fees $10 again, 10% of the balance. Let's go ahead and go over to Fantasy Labs and work on the cash lineup really quick for DraftKings. So the slate's really small. It's only 4 games, but I think we still have some solid options overall. We can kind of start at point guard and build through the site. This is probably a slate where you'll definitely want to utilize late swap, especially at this time I'm filming. Rondo, Gay, Curry, Iguodala are all still questionable. I definitely think Curry is very likely to play in this one, so I'm counting on him playing. But Rondo I'm not too sure about. He has 3 ailments. There's definitely a strong possibility he could be held out in this one. So I think it's important to kind of mess around with a few different lineups. Maybe, assume Rondo is in and Rudy Gay is in, and then do one where you assume they're both out, so you'll be a bit more prepared when the news finally comes out. So let's start at point guard, and since DraftKings is such a tight pricing site, we can kind of look through the models, and you can kind of work down. Obviously, Curry and Westbrook in that game are really high, but they're also really, really hard to fit, and there aren't that many cheap plays tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in Dragic. I'm going to build the lineup through here, and let's move to shooting guard. Again, obviously I like Dwayne Wade a lot and Klay Thompson a lot, but I'm really trying to save money here, and I think Wes Matthews is in a great spot for Sacramento, so we can lock him in as well. Small forward, obviously definitely like Durant in this spot again, but same thing as the first two positions, trying to save a little bit of money here, trying to go for a more well-balanced all-around team. So I'm going to lock in Kawhi on the road for him, and very consistent, very safe cash game player. And same thing with power forward. I'm going to target New Orleans again and go LaMarcus Aldridge and lock him in there. So kind of all guys you can look at the top of the model, the fan model for cash games. Center, I'd love to play Hassan Whiteside. I think I'll definitely look for him in my tournament lineup. I'm going to lock in Alex Len here. At the guard position, as of now, I think Rondo can go either way. So for now, I'm going to make a lineup with Darren Collison in, just in case Rondo sits in this one. He's in my guard position, so I can maneuver and have a few options depending on which way it goes. In the forward position, I definitely want to, I think I want a piece of Dallas some more, especially in the front court. So I'll lock in Dirk, and then with my utility, I'm going to lock in Parsons as well, who's been seeing an extended role in that offense and really playing well lately. So as you can see, it's a perfect salary fit. The one thing about this lineup that I really don't like doing is, I have 3 Mavericks guys in a game that could get out of hand. This is obviously a 4-game slate, so I'm willing to play 3 guys on one team. But the glaring thing from this lineup is that I don't have anybody in the Warriors Thunder game, so not great. What you could do is I could switch to Harrison Barnes and Kevin Durant, and sacrifice there and go cheap to Barnes at small forward and Durant my forward position. So that's an option if I want to go that route. So let's go ahead and just go to DraftKings and put this lineup in really quick. So we'll draft now. Alright, so we got Dragic, Wes, Kawhi, Aldridge. My mouse is tweaking, wow. Alex Len at center. And I'm going bold play with Collison, hoping that Rondo's out, but if he's in, then I will adjust and probably not go Collison. And forward spot, Dirk and Parsons. Alright, and I'll submit that. Okay, and we'll export it out to all the games. And there we go. So let's put that in our cash games. Let's work on this tournament team. So let's go back to. I'm going to keep using the fan model just because it's a 4-game slate and it's pretty cut and dry in terms of you can look at everything easily here. And I'm going to actually build this team out. With the amount of entries in this tournament, especially on a 4-game slate, there will definitely be a lot of overlap here. So I'm going to try to play some contrarian plays here. So again, at point guard, I'm really high on Dragic on this one. So I'm going to lock him in on this tournament team as well. I think a sneaky tournament player could be Raymond Felton against Sacramento. I definitely don't mind getting pieces of Dallas here on this slate. Small forward, I think an interesting play who has some upside. You can look at the ceiling is Joe Johnson. So I'm going to lock him in as well. Trying to save money here. Power forward, is tough. I think a guy that has some decent upside, especially in a blowout, is David Lee. So I'm going him. I think he'll be pretty low owned on this slate. And then when I was breaking down the cash, I'd obviously like to go Whiteside. So in this tournament exposure, I definitely want a piece of Whiteside against Phoenix. I think can have, obviously a very big game here. And then the guard spot, definitely wouldn't mind some Dwayne Wade against Phoenix as well. So kind of hoping Miami scores, a very, very large amount of points tonight, which they're playing one of the worst, if not the worst, defenses in the league. So I like going Wade there. In the forward spot, we can get Kawhi, who has upside, especially on the road here. It's a back-to-back for them. They could kind of rest their other guys. Duncan could possibly rest coming off the big rodeo trip, and then a back-to-back. Either way, could see limited minutes. So I think Kawhi, again, has upside here, so a good cash and good tournament play. And then finally, I'm fine rolling Alex Len. You know, not necessarily for the matchup, but I think he's got a pretty safe amount of minutes here and definitely offers upside. So that's the tournament lineup I'm going to go. You know, hoping for a nice cash to get my bankroll back up a little bit. So we'll throw this in the. Let's go to my contests and edit the tournament lineup. I might get a seizure with this mouse by the time this video is over. So let's go ahead and put Dragic in. We got Felton as a cheap play against Sacramento. We got Joe Johnson, another cheap play with a good matchup against Phoenix. Has some upside there. Power forward, another very cheap play, and David Lee, kind of hoping for a blowout in that one. Center, definitely want a piece of Whiteside, who has, you know, easily the highest upside out of all the centers. Not even close, really. And then we'll get Dwayne Wade in, who's underpriced on DraftKings, and Kawhi as well at the forward spot, again underpriced. And then I'll finish it off with Alex Len here. So we'll put that in the tournament lineup. And again, you can see I'm fading the Golden State Oklahoma City game. If I were doing multiple tournaments, this could have been a night where you could have gone 70-30 and put 3 tournament entries into this $1 if you're staying with your bankroll management. Then you could definitely kind of play around and maybe stack that team, that game, get some Ibaka, get one of Curry or Westbrook, try to fit Durant in there, and just go really, really cheap at pretty much every other position. So that's definitely something that I think you should do if you're playing more than just one tournament lineup. So we'll submit this here, and I'll just go back. So we got, you know, my lineups are set. We got the feed on the left you're monitoring. We got 8 total entries. Again, we'll show upcoming games. We got the entry fee, $10. So kind of same thing, and hoping for better results. And now it's just time to, you know, monitor the feed, especially for the Kings guys, and you just kind of tinker your lineup based on any news that comes through. Now it's just time to sit back and prepare to sweat the games. Possibly, you know, maybe play a little bit of NBA Jam while you wait. Definitely like to play with some Scott Skiles here sometimes, the ultimate DFS troll. Sometimes I just let David Robinson or someone, you know, dunk all over, see their Skiles. So it gives me some satisfaction when he takes a hard foul. Or look at Skiles get up, though. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So it's just a little way to get some revenge for what he's done to our DFS teams. But alright, guys, I'll be back next time with Volume 3 of the Bankroll Builder Series.